Hey everybody, Chris with Clutter Reduction Junk Removal in Palm Beach County, Florida, and we're going to be talking about how we like to give our estimates. Now, we've talked about pricing videos in the past, and we've talked about estimates, but for the newer people out there who are just getting into junk removal and come across this channel and this video, this is what we like to do personally, and I find this to be very helpful because it allows me to have a more precise estimate so I don't lowball myself, and I'll explain that a little bit. So, like everything else in junk removal, we charge first by volume, how much room it's going to take up in the truck. And we do that by calculating the cubic yardage first and then dividing that number into our truck. Now, if you're not familiar, a cubic yard is a 3 foot by 3 foot by 3 foot cube. So think of like a really big box that's 3 feet by 3 feet. A industry standard is a washing machine, or what I like more so personally is a 6 foot standard refrigerator where you have like the swinging freezer door on top, fridge door on the bottom. To me, that is a more accurate 2 cubic yards. So I'm gonna go ahead and use this bedroom as an example and let you know exactly how we come to the price that we do. This is a bedroom of miscellaneous and some furniture. We already cleared out a couple of items since yesterday, especially the closet. This was full of clothing and some miscellaneous on the shelves and the floors. But what I like to do when I walk through a house is I will go room by room and I will calculate in my mind the amount of cubic yardage and then the extra time that I think it's going to take us to do this room. And I will do that for every single room, add it up in my notes, and then divide that into my truck. So for example, I walk in here, this whole little area, I'm just going to say is half a yard. This dresser is 1.5 yards. So together, 2 yards. That dresser piece, if you were to scooch it together into a cube, call it a yard. This thing, a little bit more identical to a yard. Now we're getting into more miscellaneous furniture and smaller pieces. This is where I will start to clump things together. Imagine you just scooped all this up into a pile and you were to call it a yard. So that corner there, a yard. This table and some miscellaneous stuff here, a yard. This little area in the middle, a yard. And the closet, we filled up about 9 trash bags. Now, in my experience, the way we fill our trash bags, every 6 bags that we fill is about a yard. So figure 1.5 yards, and we already took out some other miscellaneous stuff. I think altogether this thing was like 3 yards. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I know this whole room is approximately 10 cubic yards. Now, this is a lot of small stuff we're gonna have to sit here and bag up and or make multiple trips out to. So in addition to the volume, we will usually tack in a little extra time, which we did for the closet. So for the closet, we added in an additional 15 minutes to bag everything up. For here, I'm gonna say it'll take another 15 minutes to bag up all the small loose stuff, get all of the glassware out. I already cleared out that cabinet of all the other chinaware from yesterday. So we've already done some work in here, but in my estimate, this was about 3/4 of a truck and the extra time. Now, our truck is 17 yards, 3/4 is 12 yards. I'll explain why I go up, not down. Moving on to the bathroom, there wasn't a ton in here. There's some stuff down in the cabinets. I go ahead and just round up and say, okay, bathroom, the closet, and this closet, if you were to add it all together, is about 1/8 of a truck, and I usually just tack in 15 minutes. Again, it's just kind of a ballpark time frame. For the kitchen, not a huge kitchen by any means. Not all the cabinets were super full to the brim of chinaware like they usually are. I think I filled up about 4 trash bags and 2 trash cans, so that's about 2 cubic yards, an extra 15 minutes of time. Into the living room, we already took out the couch and some small miscellaneous, and we bagged up a lot of small stuff. But from what's still here, I would say this plus maybe the TV and the lamp is a yard, a yard, 1.5 yards, 1.5 yards, half a yard. So we'll group those two together. That table, if you were just to take it as a base, is about a yard. That credenza on the side table, a yard. And then, you kind of group all this stuff together. So again, same thing as the bedroom. I'm gonna go through and calculate that all. Say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, half, 7. Let's just say this is 8 yards in here. So again, that is a perfect half a truck. So I'm gonna calculate it as half a truck. And I had already done all the bagging, but there's a bunch of small loose stuff everywhere. We added an extra 15 minutes for this living room. And we start adding everything up. So the bedroom was 3/4. This is half a truck. The closets were in the bathroom were 1/4. And then the kitchen was basically 1/4. So if you group all those together, I'm losing track, but basically I charged a truck and 3/4. And then we tacked in an extra hour and a half of time for everything. So when I go to present that to the customer, I'm saying, hey, I think it's going to be a truck and 3/4 plus a little additional time because we have to obviously bag up all this small stuff. Now, for parking purposes, don't discredit where you are from your truck. It takes time to do this stuff. It's not just what's in the house. It's also what's outside. We are right out front. We don't usually get that great of an opportunity. Sometimes you might have to park down and over by guest parking and all of a sudden you have like a 50-yard walk. It may not sound like a lot, like, oh man, it's just walking, like you don't have to charge more for it. You do. Why? Because it takes more time, and time is everything in business. This is junk removal. We don't charge by time like moving does. We charge by volume, but we allow ourselves a certain amount of time to get the jobs done. And if that is going to surpass that increment, then you need to charge for it. Otherwise, you are going to burn through your profit. And if you're working for free, why do you have a business? You know, I used to be very lenient about that in the past. I was like, oh, it's a little bit of a walk, it's whatever. I got dollies, I got speed packs, not a big deal. I think my first year, I probably lost like $5,000 or $6,000 by not doing that, to be honest with you. Probably a little more. I just didn't care. Like I was used to it. I was a mover. I was used to stairs. I was used to high-rise buildings. To me, I was like, oh, elevator, cool. I don't have to worry about stairs. Less work. In reality, and I learned this from the moving company, elevators take more time than stairs usually do. Stairs are harder. Elevators take more time, especially the higher up you go. So what I used to do in the past, now I just kind of group it all together. But in the past, I used to do $5 per a floor in a high-rise building per a load. So if they were on the 20th floor of a high-rise building, I would tack in an extra $100 per a load for extra time. Why? Because unless you have that elevator locked for you specifically and nobody else can access it, I'm not talking about you hold down the service button until the door is closed, because anyone can figure that out. I'm talking like you have a key to the elevator and nobody else is gonna go in it. We'll still charge a little bit of time because obviously it takes time to go up and down. But the problem with elevators is you now have 19 opportunities for somebody else to call that elevator for you to stop, wait for it to sit, the door is open, hey, sorry, we're working, we can't let you in here. You continue on. I have been in buildings where we stop at damn near almost every floor because it is that active of a building, and one trip can easily turn into 15, 20 minutes. And obviously if you're making 10, 20 trips, that takes a long fucking time. And that is what you have to charge for. So we used to do $5 per floor. Now we just kind of round up to like a half hour or an hour, and we'll just set it like at that. If I have a senior living facility, we go to those a lot, or a storage unit. You usually have elevators, but you typically have long walks. It's like a maze. And you usually can't park right out front, or you can't always park right at the loading dock of a storage. So we will charge extra for that if we know in advance. And that is why you have to be very firm on the phone if you're going to tell people about pricing over by pictures or just by description. You have to say, hey, this is strictly just for what you sent me. This is not including accessibility. We will estimate that when we get there. And if they say, well, what do you mean? We'll say, well, we give ourselves a certain amount of time to get a job done. If I have to walk halfway through a storage unit to get to your unit, every single time it's going to take us 5-10 minutes a trip. That adds up, and we need to charge extra for that. Most people understand, and the ones that don't and argue with it are probably going to say no to your price regardless. So it's up to you to decide if you still want to do it or not. Now, when it comes to actual pricing, that is up to you to determine. I recommend you try to do your due diligence and do some research and figure out in your area what are other companies charging. You don't need their actual price sheet. What you need to figure out is what is their full load and then what is their minimum, and then apply that to your own. I personally recommend you call about 3 companies, try to find out those numbers, and then you just divide that and find the average and then charge that for yours. Now, something you need to keep in mind though is how big is your truck in comparison? Because if you're gonna be getting like a pickup truck with sides and you can only fit 5 cubic yards in there, and you're calling up places like 1-800-GOT-JUNK, oh, you're charging $800? I'm gonna charge $800. You call a local company that has a 17-yard trailer, oh, you charge $590? I'm gonna charge $590. You're not offering the same value because you have a smaller truck. So you can't do that. And you can, but you're gonna be a piece of shit. Don't do that. Find out what they charge, find out how big their truck is, divide that number, start with that. The national average for cubic yardage last year, I'm sure it's gone up, was about $55 per yard. That's a good rule of thumb to a degree, but there comes a point where junk removal is kind of a slow progression, not a straight up. So you need to figure out how big of a truck you're gonna use. If you're gonna be using rental trucks, I started off with U-Hauls, I would go the cubic yardage route. So I would do exactly what I'm doing here, and then instead of saying to the customer, I think it's gonna be half a truck, this is our price. Because I could show up in a 15-foot U-Haul, I could show up in a 26-foot U-Haul because they didn't have the 15-foot available the day I went there. And obviously the customer is gonna be very confused and say, that's not half a truck, you're lying to me. And you gotta say, oh, well, no, it's for the smaller truck. You know? Or maybe you need to get a pickup truck and do multiple trips. The point is though, it's easier just to charge by the yardage, and then that way you can branch off into, if you're gonna be doing rental trucks, you can basically just say, yeah, it's 17 yards. It doesn't matter how many trips I make in the pickup truck, it's 17 yards. So I have a pricing video that everyone seems to really like. I'll tag it up above. Check that out for the actual pricing part. And I talk a little bit about the breakdown as well for what to charge. But when it comes to the estimate, this is how we like to visualize stuff. I don't know where I got this nail from, but now I'm playing with it. Hopefully that gives you guys an idea. If you have any questions, ask them below. There's a lot of other companies out there that talk about estimates and pretty good insight. Check them out as well. The more you know, the better, and you can find your own way. I didn't learn this from anyone on YouTube. I got a general idea from the company I used to work for, but it was more just common sense. Like you look at something, you say, okay, how does that look in comparison to a 3-foot by 3-foot area, and then compare the difference. So that's just my words of wisdom. Take it with a grain of salt, do your own research, but that is what we find to be easiest.